So, speaking of getting to know the players, one of the most well-known American players, Snake Eyez, recently released 2 videos with Red Bull and one with Mike Ross and Gutex. Both gave a bit more of an insight into him as a person and sort of as a player outside of just his skills. So we wanted to talk about one of those videos, which is a conversation. But I think he mentioned some points in both of the videos. You can watch both of them. They're on YouTube now. House of Snake Eyez, I think it's called, from Red Bull. And The Conversation, which is with Ross and Gutex. Snake Eyez raised a point which was quite controversial, thinking it is his belief that the players in Street Fighter 4 are at a higher level than any other fighting games. I don't want to... That's not a direct quote. That's a sort of an... I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's a paraphrase. That's the one I was looking for. Paraphrasing. What do you guys think about that?
I think I think every top player of their game has that opinion because they're like kind of proud of the game that they're good at. So I think that's kind of... I mean, granted, he also won Evo for HD Remix.
Which is a Street Fighter game as well. So
yeah, is that Street Fighter? I'm not sure. The storyline game. Like, but yeah, personally, I don't 100% agree because it is true that Street Fighter 4 has the most players out of all the games. International on an international stage, like you can go to pretty much any country and find a good competition if you know where to go, of course, because I feel Street Fighter 4 is extremely limited, and I feel that's a part of how the game was designed in the first place. Like Vanilla was to bring back the Street Fighter 2 players, to keep things simple so that the common folk would be able to play it and be like, hey, I remember how to throw a fireball. Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, let's play this game.
I remember all these characters. They're all my favorites. They're all here. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, just that alone shows that the game isn't as deep as other games. Because there's many times, because I mean, we all have played it very seriously at some point, and we've all done pretty well. And there's many moments where I can't do anything right now. Like I just have to like run away the entire time because the best game plan is to not engage.
Which we saw Jace do against Snake Eyez recently, anyway, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to do? Do you want to... I mean, that's another, like, that's a whole other argument, how, like, grapplers, if they're, like, too buff, like, when you play against a grappler, you play against their game plan. You have to run away the entire time. And I kind of feel that's what people do by default. It's not even Zangief that's their opponent. They just don't want to engage. They just want to, like, hit their combos. They just want to, they just want to play the matchup, not play against the person. And I feel that because of this, Snake Eyes' statement is not correct.
Well, that goes back to your whole thing about sort of the design of Street Fighter 4 and harkening back to Street Fighter 2, which had very specific character archetypes that, you know, they're meant to win a matchup, so you have to switch to another character. Because there's like no choice. There's you can't do anything about it. It's a 9-1. There's no point you even trying at a competitive level going for this. I think Street Fighter 4 isn't as far skewed as ST, but like you have a couple of other things in the game that sort of make it. But it's certainly less open than say Third Strike was in terms of being able to get around that sort of thing. And definitely there's other games out there that completely blow that up as well. So I think Snake Eyes' statement is a very narrow one in terms of his frame of reference. Like if you've only really competed at a high level in HD Remix and Street Fighter 4, that's like
the opposite spectrum, basically, right?
Yeah, but it's like no, that's a very narrow field, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how would you ever know that the players in SF4 are better than Tekken players or Guilty Gear players or even like Smash players? You haven't got that. You haven't got the experience to say that. Surely, I mean, yes, the Street Fighter 4 is probably operating at the biggest scale in terms of competitive play, but it's kind of a crazy thing to say.
Yeah, it's a little baseless, I would say.
Yeah,
It's hard to just say something like that, but is that what he's trying to say? I don't know, you know. Is he saying if these hypothetical Street Fighter players were to play another game competitively, would they be better? Would they be the top players of that game? Is that what he's trying to say? It's hard to gauge. But yeah, the statement itself in a vacuum is kind of like weird to me, because I played Marvel competitively and Street Fighter, and it's just two different games completely. Like the top players in one game have totally different skill sets from top players in other games, and it's just all practice and time. You don't know if just because you're really good at one game, you know, you're just overall better competitor in other games. Obviously, there are some players like you know, multi-game players like Takedo. He's really good, but he's just a genius in general. So yeah,
Kazunoko's really good. A variety of different games as well, different style games.
Kazunoko's like the new generation Tokido or something like that. Same with Nemo.
Yeah,
I mean, if you were to count like how many people can actually compete at multiple games, like let's say not even 2 games, say 3 games, is there even 5 people that you can think of right now, like at the top level?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach Bennett was really good as well. If I'm allowed to represent my territory,
I love Zach.
Zach Bennett. Zach Bennett.
Bennett.
Yeah. He's great. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us in terms of playing fighting games. But yeah, I definitely.
I just realized all of us know Zach. That's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I just think, you know, it's not something you can say with such a small frame of reference and experience. It's like a really vague thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree if someone like Takedo were to say something like that, then, you know, maybe we would give it a little bit more credibility. But yeah,
Snake Eyes is like 20 late 20s maybe. I don't remember. 27, 26, 27. Do you guys know?
I have no idea.
Because I do remember him telling me that he played Marvel 2 on pad. So
really?
Is he truly a new school player, or has he always been there? Maybe he just wasn't able to compete.
Yeah, maybe he didn't blossom until his mid-20s.
Yeah, maybe.
Into the legend he is today.
I mean, if he's late 20s now, how old would he have been when Marvel 2 was actually getting played seriously?
When did Marvel 2 come out? 2000? Is it
2000? Yeah. 99?
So then he was playing that. But Marvel 2 stuck around forever, though.
No, of course.
It's hard to tell when he was playing, you know.
Yeah. People were still playing that shit in 2010, right up until 3 came out, so... Yeah.
Marvel 2 is a good game.
It is a good game.
I was never the best, but Marvel 2 is the only game where I can play and be totally fine losing in. The only game.
Did you ever play Third Strike much?
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm not a big fan.
Okay. Did you not feel that? Did you not feel in that game similar sort of thing?
I said, feel what?
You were okay with losing, like you felt you got outplayed when you lost.
Well, maybe because Marvel 2, I would consider Marvel 2 not a Street Fighter game. So to me, I wouldn't categorize it like that. I'm just pressing buttons and having.
I just meant in general because they both came out at a similar sort of time. They're both horribly unbalanced when it comes to the character list, but they're both games which would sort of look back on in a sense that the best player generally wins at those games.
Yeah, at the highest level, it seems like that. Like Kuroda and MOV won way too many titles, and there's
Yeah.
still like the competition for that game was wild. Even in Japan, they're still playing that game. It's crazy. You have to go to like certain arcades, but they have like 13 cabinets or something. It's wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sick. But they play all kinds of stuff in Japan, man. I remember going to Taito Station and like seeing they had like 8 cabs for that Gundam game. What's that game called? Extreme?
Well, I don't know what it's called exactly, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like So there's a lot of.
I think that's the most popular game in the arcade. Yeah.
Looked fucking.
Oh, what game
incredible.
is this? I want to look it up now.
It's
Like
made by.
it's like some Virtual-On looking game.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's made by Namco Bandai.
Okay.
Do you know what? That actually raises another point as well that I want. It's not on our to-do list, but I really wanted to talk about it. Like the importance of the IP of a game. Do you know the intellectual property of a game? Do you think there's a noticeable difference between the recognised commentators that are out there? You know, your Ultra Davids, your James Chens, your Ski Sonics, your Z's, than obviously the other people that jump on and are maybe sort of filling time.